Hello, my name is Nicole Davison. I'm the British Consul-General in Vancouver. Later this year, the United Kingdom is going to be hosting COP26, the United Nations Climate Change Conference. And in that context, I'm delighted to be talking to President Joy Johnson today about SFU's commitments to join Race to Zero. So Joy, thank you so much, first of all, for SFU signing up for this. Can you tell us a little bit about why Fraser University has decided to join the pledge?
Well, first of all, I'm really pleased to be with you today. And you know, this pledge is really important. Fraser University has been a leader in terms of sustainability and climate change. We're a university that really believes in partnership and engaging locally and globally. And this is a perfect example of a commitment we can make to push ourselves, but also to push the community, to push other universities, to push industry to think about the importance of climate change.
Absolutely. I mean, and it's fantastic because it's so important to lead by example, and Fraser is amongst the first of a handful of universities in Canada to do that. Can you tell us a little bit about what it actually means in practical terms to sign up? What are some of the implications of it?
Well, as you can well imagine, this was a very warm summer we had in British Columbia, and it's getting warmer. So even in terms of some of the commitments we need to make in terms of thinking about cooling our buildings, we know that actually takes energy and has carbon implications. So we need to think very carefully about our infrastructure. We need to think very carefully about how we can make changes on the ground that really will deliver on our sustainability goals as well.
And as I understand it, there's a series of accountability within this process as well. What does this actually mean for SFU in terms of docking in with Race to Zero and reporting back on your commitments?
You know, in terms of Race to Zero, we wouldn't have signed up if we didn't think we could deliver on our commitments. But part of delivering on the commitments is really thinking about how we're going to track them, but also how we're going to have the resources to deliver on them and meet our targets. So we are being ambitious with our targets, but when we sat down and set them, we really had to think about what it was going to take to meet those targets. So we're excited about it, but we also are really thinking carefully about how to track them.
Yeah, it's a very important part of it, and I think it's really important to understand that signing up to Race to Zero is not just committing to a pledge. It actually means accountable actions and is a very thorough process that organisations have to go through. What do you think the reaction is going to be from faculty, staff, students, etc.?
Well, you know, I think they're going to be really excited about it. I have to tell you, our students are wanting us to move quickly in terms of climate action. And this is one step. We need to do other things as well, and I certainly recognize that. But I think particularly in terms of our targets, they are ambitious, and I think the university community, our faculty, staff, students, and our community are going to feel that we're pushing ourselves and we're taking this seriously.
So obviously we've talked about that this is quite a sizable commitment. Was there ever any doubt about signing up to this, or that it would be perceived as too difficult, or maybe even just being rhetoric and not having any meaning?
Well, I think that there's always a concern about rhetoric. People make these kinds of pledges, and the question is, and we've talked about this, where are the deliverables? So I think, you know, it does have to have some impact behind it, and I think that's what I like about Race to Zero, is that it's not just about a statement, it is also about, you know, really thinking about how are you going to meet those targets. I wouldn't say it was easy either, though, because we had to do a lot of analysis to think about what was reasonable for targets. We don't just kind of pick these out of the air. You have to really think through really what's reachable, what's practical, what's affordable, and over what time span. And so while we really always wanted to jump on board, it took some work. And as it should, this should be hard, this should be meaningful, and it should be something that we take seriously.
Because it raises the question, if it's too easy, is it even worth doing?
Exactly.
So I mentioned at the beginning that the UK is hosting COP26, and one of our big aims around this, we have a number of global aims, but one of the big things that we're pushing is really getting a lot of organisations and municipalities and universities and businesses to sign up to Race to Zero. So on a real push for that. But why do you think it's important for universities to sign up?
Well, I think it's essential because a university should be at the cutting edge of climate change, in my view. You know, we've got the scientists, the students, the community who really want to see this change. But I also would say we are big institutions. You know, we have 37,000 students and thousands of faculty of staff. We have huge infrastructure across 3 campuses. And we've got partners that we work with globally as well. And so we can be change agents. We can, I think, signal the importance of this to government. We can signal the importance of these kinds of commitments to industry as well. And so I really do think that we're anchor institutions that really can push this agenda, and we should.
I mean, from our perspective, it's absolutely fantastic. And I want to thank you so much for spearheading this at Simon Fraser University and leading by example. But before we close out, where can people find out more information if they'd like to find out more about the Sustainable Development Goals or indeed your commitment Race to Zero?
So thanks for asking that. And we are putting together a website with all of our plans around the Sustainable Development Goals, and our commitments in relation to the Race to Zero will sit there, as will our tracking. So really look forward to trying to be as transparent as possible about the work that we need to do.
Fantastic. Check in regularly.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Thanks.